win was just his second win in the conference final as a coach, as a team. They've struggled through the last 4 times they've been here. And Chris, don't you think that's been the mandate all year? You're building this team. He talked about bringing in Ehlers, who could be a game breaker. Well, he was in game 2, and he paid off for them in that one. Who's going to be the hero here in such an important game 3?
4 goals tonight. 3 have been scored by defensemen Gostisbehere, Matheson, and Hudson. The only forward to score, Taylor Hall. Ehlers, no surprise, is out to start for Carolina. That gets off his skate back into the Hurricane zone. Now Ehlers trying to get it deep. Lane Hudson with the puck for Carrier. Rink wide, Texier. Tied up, but Hudson will take over. Was some criticism that Marty St. Louis didn't shorten the bench for overtime, which is, here's a chance. It's Nick Suzuki missing. What a chance to finish it. Anderson. As Suzuki got in behind, Canadians almost had too many men there. Caulfield's pass broken up. And back the other way goes Svechnikov. Dropping it off, and Suzuki steps in front of that. Back to the attack comes the captain. Slavkovsky on the left flank. Taken away, swung to the line, kept in by Matheson. Here's Matheson, and that shot off the bar and out.
Oh, man. Talk about chances. A minute 3 into this overtime. How about Hudson? Suzuki's coming off the bench. You get lost off him. He gets right down the gut. Tries to go that blocker side. Over the pad, under the blocker. Just misses to the outside as Frederick Anderson closing off. And we've seen Matheson. The chances he's had. He's got 1 tonight. A couple of posts. That one off the crossbar and out of play. Great play along the boards to elude traffic.
Newhook wins the draw. Noah Dobson shooting it. That blocked. He'll get another chance. Passing it off to Demidov on the right flank. Demidov watched by Chatfield. Back to the line. Dobson once again trying to thread it through. That went off the skate of Stankoven. Bumping Newhook along the boards. Swung around to the far side for Hudson. Watched by Blake. Hands it off to Demidov. Tracked there up high by Chatfield. Off the skate of Evans, and now Carolina works it ahead. Slavin started the breakout. Here comes Stankoven and Hall. Taylor Hall with a shot, and that doesn't get through. Blake tied up by Dobson. And now Noah Dobson takes over. Thought he had the go-ahead, what might have stood as the game winner tonight. On an overturned goal in the 3rd. Gostisbehere ahead. And Robinson into the bench. Play stopped.
Well, you just never know when the opportunity is going to present itself. Look at the look for Anderson. It's through bodies that he never sees. Almost hits Chatfield, just whispers against his shirt, and then look at the eyes of Matheson. Couldn't believe it. Thought he had to play perfectly.
Didn't even crossbar game 7 against Buffalo, too.
Yes, he did. Well, you can see that wrister is able to get quite a bit of zip on it, but that gives you a great idea of just how much chaos there is in front of the goaltenders and trying to pick up the shots coming through. Anderson never saw it.
Carolina sends it in. There's Carrier sidestepping one check, but Martinook scrapes the boards. Stall against Matheson. Martinook checked. Carrier trying to turn away from the forechecking. And here comes Matheson. A lead feed. It's Texier trying to center. And that pass intercepted by Keandre Miller. Bounce back into Montreal territory. And it's Mike Matheson, who's had quite a night. Here he comes. Over the line is Matheson, and a good stick check there by Miller. He'll flip it away to center. Robinson with speed after it. Gooley there for Montreal. Up ahead, Canadians almost had too many on a close call, but icing against Montreal.
You know, it's always a risk-reward decision for a defenseman. Do I go up? Do I join the rush? Well, here he's got lots of open ice, so Matheson takes it in. Talk about patience and control. Keandre Miller, he's got a great reach, a good long stick, good defensive defenseman against a good defensive defenseman, and Keandre Miller with a quick stick to thwart any chance.
Out there against Deneau. Carolina's won 55% of the faceoffs tonight, and he kicks that back for Gostisbehere. Sidestepping Anderson. Backhand in front, and Josh Anderson will play it away. Texier gets to the bench. Suzuki comes on. So too Slavkovsky. Nikishin and sticks to Dobish.
You can just see with this second period change now, just the importance, as Elliott was saying, that game-winning goal in Game 2 didn't get the puck in deep, created some chaos on a change, and gave the Carolina Hurricanes the odd man rush. You see every change is just get there as quickly as you can, make sure you make the safe play. And you asked about the short bench for Montreal. It has been that to this point, Chris, but we've also had so many icings that there's been no chance.
Face-off control, the stretch for Caulfield, and that deflects out of play.
So those are the tough calls for a coach. You know, in Game 2, that line of Bolduc and Kapanen and Doc played, well, Bolduc 12:53, Kapanen 10:01. They were -2 on the night. And so as a coach, you're trying to slide that fourth line through. Well, how about the fourth line tonight? They were on for the first goal against. So they've been minus. They've been under 10 minutes here, and it'll be interesting to watch. There's going to be a time where he's got to get a matchup. He's got to get them out there.
Well, as they're playing their 17th game.
Yeah.
So
compared to the other guys.
Just to take a little of the load off if you can is the dilemma. And out comes Jarvis. They'll dump it in past Gooley. Around it goes Hudson. An outlet for Suzuki and Slavkovsky. Jumping is Caden Gooley. Gooley in deep. Turns back against Chatfield. Slaving up the boards. And off a glove, but out to center. Swept back in by Gooley. Frederick Anderson. Up ahead it goes, and here's Jackson Blake, an overtime hero against Philadelphia in the series clincher. And this is going to be icing Montreal.
A little back and forth between Demidov and Blake after they got piled into the corner. Boy, I'm sure for Marty St. Louis, Chris, this has been far too many icings on this early go-round. There's Big Brad. Who's guilty there? Who's grabbing whose arm? They kind of both look like they've got a piece of each other, and they have some words and a fallout after. Carolina having a quick conversation before the Stankoven line goes for the faceoff.
No hook on his strong sides, 4-2, and make it another faceoff win, but stolen by Hall in front of Jam. Close call for Taylor Hall. Now Walker can't get it to the net. Stankoven. Demidov stays on him. Stankoven stays on the puck. Around it comes. Demidov continues to battle for it with Stankoven. Turns away and then reverses it. Dobson can't clear. Kept in at the line by Walker. Stankoven. That pass bouncing over a stick and fired wide. Demidov on it. And gave it away again. Stankoven's got it in front, and Hall unable to corral it. And Montreal finally gets it out.
But no change, Chris. Nobody able to change. Oh, there's a bad giveaway by Miller, which might give the tired Montreal players their chance.
Newhook deflecting that deep, so Anderson comes on now. Canadians changing in front of the bench as Martinook deflected that right on to Dobish. Goes after it. Ehlers swings that right on goal. Played to the other side off a Montreal player, and Anderson's got it. Turning to dump it in. That goes off Gostisbehere. Gano behind the net. Texier looks for it. Feeds the point. Jaden Struble trying to roll it through. And knocked away by Carolina. Lane Hudson ambles back. Hudson over 24 minutes in the game. And an icing call against the Canadiens.
Boy, a couple of giveaways. You know, fatigue does so much to your ability to make plays under pressure. Matheson fans on it. Hull just trying to get it hard to the net. The rebound there, but unable to clear. That gives a second chance off the backboard. And, boy, good job by Dobish getting that left pad down hard. Stankoven gets the turnover from Demidov, and you can see collapse to the net.
Face off one. A shot that got through it. hit Dobish through the screen off the stick of Jacob Slavin. Aiden Struble. Hudson. Jankowski. And Hudson. And now Suzuki able to chip it ahead. Up for Slavkovsky at center. An overtime hero against Tampa Bay. Here's Juraj Slavkovsky swinging it into the corner. Caulfield tied up. Suzuki trying to knock it down. And batted out by Robinson. Jankowski off. Fourth line was up against the top line of the Canadiens. And here comes Slavkovsky. Trying to shift gears on Slavin. Sebastian Aho's come on now. Here's Aho through center. Svechnikov, great pass. Aho! And he rolled that just wide. On a great rush chance for Carolina. Demidov redlining in. Anderson out to whip that around, and it went off Jarvis. Evans will play it back. Matheson ahead for Newhook. Speaking of overtime heroes, it'll be Taylor Hall in. Hall trying to get the shot off, and he missed stick side. Newhook off the boards. Evans, but not out. And Newhook didn't see it. Matheson bails him out. Matheson dragged down. Newhook to work. Alex Newhook's in. And a toe stop by Anderson. There's an Evans shot blocked by Miller. Evans gets it again and rolls it wide. Looks like about the same spot where Newhook scored against Buffalo, didn't it?
Same spot, different shot.
Clubbed back by Dobson at his own line, and now Anderson tries to flip it in towards Deneau. Forward checking is Deneau. Stankova now to the line. Blake will work it out. Alex Texier lost it, but it goes to Hudson. And did that go off Miller? It did not. Icing called.
Boy, every shot, just the crowd is on their edge here. Slavin with his head up. Knows he's got some traffic in front. Look at that. Just seemed like it just hit him and he didn't even see it, but in great position. And this one, just a piece of it was Braden Cooley. Not allowing that one. Newhook, you're right, from that similar spot, lower down, and a pad save by Anderson.
Stahl off the draw. It'll come back to Gostisbehere. That goes off Anderson. Jordan Stahl gets back on it. Bouncing puck that Struble was able to send out to center. Now Anderson tries to get loose, along with Texier. Here's Nick Ehlers back behind his own net. Wayne Hudson. And Struble on the tape for Suzuki. Best chance in overtime for the Canadiens. Went to Suzuki. Now it's Caulfield from the corner. And it's a shot by Carrier that goes high. Caulfield checked to the corner by Gostisbehere. And it's sent down the ice. Race for that. And Goulet got there ahead of Jarvis. Up ahead. That does get to Slavkovsky. Here's Juraj Slavkovsky tied up by Slavin. 9 minutes into overtime. Carrier rink wide. Newhook back on the ice. Around for Suzuki. Knocks it down. Unable to work it deeper. That was along the line. Close call. And Anderson steers that to the corner. Tipped in by Matheson. Now it's out. Seth Jarvis and Aho. Matheson trying to get back. The late man. Chatfield. I think that glanced off the shoulder of Dobish and out.
Well, the crowd's reaction says it all. You've just seen guys exhausted at the end of shifts stop up with the trailer and look at the positioning of Dobish like he typically has been. He's dialed in on this one, tried to go up by the ear between the blocker, and just the tall body there able to make the save. Chatfield in all alone. As you mentioned, the best chance for Montreal, the Suzuki break, unable to find the net on that one. Chatfield in a similar spot coming right down the middle there. Challenged by Dobish, and Dobish able to win it.
The official scores took one of the two shots away from Montreal in the third. The shot since the end of the second, 11-1 in favor of Carolina. Here's Tano, flipping a backhand to the side of the Carolina net. We passed 10 minutes. We'll get a shovel after the next whistle following that as Miller tries to move in. Hudson on the puck. They'll jam along the boards. It's knocked into that far corner. There's Eric Robinson. Hudson tripped. No call. A lot of dissenting opinion here.
Well, imagine that if he was tripped and it created a turnover that ended up in the back of the net.
Robinson deflected that in, so no icing. Matheson on the puck. That's the dilemma if you don't make the call and it.
Yeah.
Free for Dobson. Stankoven there, along with Blake, disrupting things. Noah Dobson swings it back to Matheson and Demidov. Hall had him lined up and nails him with a big hit, and icing called once again against Montreal.
Well, the first big break for the Montreal Canadiens comes here because it's an icing with tired bodies, but because it's overtime after 10, we get a scrape. You be the judge, stick on the feet. The fans are judging there, 21,000 plus, no call. But here's the first 10 minutes in a nutshell. Just a beauty of a pass by Hudson up the middle. Suzuki with the game on his stick, can't quite get it off the post and in. Matheson has had a heck of a game. Another one off the crossbar. And then Taylor Hall scoring in this game as well. From behind the net tries not once, but the rebound coming back. Slavin with the shot there. Stankoven on the doorstep, and a nice play by Demidov. And somebody tell Alex Newhook that this is a game 7. Maybe he'll put one in there. And there was the most recent Chatfield coming in and not able to beat Jakub Dovish, who has been the busier of the two, as you chronicled, Chris. Shot total skewed again by Carolina, 37-12 on the clock. 35 saves for Dovish, another great performance.
Well, you saw Mike Matheson leading the way in time on ice tonight.
You said about the schedule since May 10th. This is only the third game for the Carolina Hurricanes. This is the 5th for the Montreal Canadiens. You mentioned this is game number 17 now in what, a month and a half. It becomes such a wear and tear, and if you're looking for freshness, it has to go in Carolina's way, but the rhythm has stayed there for the Canadiens with all the games.
Brenda Moore rolling 4 lines here. We've seen the 4th line, but not yet for Montreal.
That's a hard one for Marty St. Louis, because the challenge then is guys get out of it. They haven't played the whole period. You want to slide them out there, and there haven't been a whole lot of whistles. If you get an icing, Chris, in the second period, you say, okay, I'm going to start that 4th line in an offensive zone. You're trying to win the game. You get an icing, your top line comes out to try to take advantage of it in overtime.
You don't have Peter Klima on line 1.
What do you have, like an hour without playing and 2 periods? Biggest goal of his life.
Well, here's Evans and Stahl, won by Montreal. Skittering down the ice. They may have to do it again. They will. So, Canadians with frequency icing the puck here in overtime.
Well, if you've been a fan watching this, how many times have you seen the long flip into the neutral zone? Both these teams, in these type of tight games, you don't want to turn the puck over. You've seen so many just hang time in the middle. That one just got away from Dobson there and created the icing.
Stahl 9-7. Evans 4-7 on face-offs tonight. Although Evans has been terrific throughout most of the playoffs, and there's a winger win for Newhook speeding down the ice, trying to get by Slavin. Nothing doing. Rink wide, and Gooley had come on, so Gooley will send it back into the Carolina zone. It jumped the stick of Anderson and Demidov, and here comes the veteran Slavin. Wrapping it in. Martinic goes after it. Cooley is there. Cooley's had a busy night at 12. Suzuki gives it away. Stahl plays it in behind the net. Cooley for Hudson and back. Aiden Cooley. Hit is Martinic. Peels back, heads to the bench on a change, and Lane Hudson starts away. Suzuki on this near side. Can he get by Miller? John Walker's got it. Back for Andre Miller. Deflected deep by Svechnikov. Carrier sidesteps a hit. Hudson along the boards. Away from Svechnikov. Knocked off the stick with Slavkovsky in front, and Slavkovsky came back to take it away. Here they come. Over the line, Slavkovsky unable to control the count. Oh, the Canadiens are going to get away with one, or are they? Too many men.
There is a real hesitant move here by the linesman. Nobody wants to call this. If there's contact just away from the play while the guy's at the bench, you can just call and blow the whistle. The problem here is it hits the skates of Hudson. Matheson's already on. Hey, man, if this is game 42, this is a penalty. I think this, wow. If they're not giving a penalty here, that's a huge break. Wow is right.
Well, if you didn't like the no call on the trip,
how is that not too many men on the ice? I mean, the puck goes, Rod Brindamore's going absolutely crazy, and I don't blame him. You know, if you're a Montreal fan and it's going the other way, you're incensed here too. So you know Carolina fans are watching this, can't believe it. And Chris, I know refs don't want to get involved, but this is just as clear as day. Matheson, you got to wait till he gets there. Hudson stops the puck from going to Aho, who would have a chance before Matheson could get there. That's the other element. It would have been an odd man rush had that puck gone through.
So unlikely to get a call in overtime, it would look like, unless it's puck over glass or an even more egregious too many men. That's a break.
Well, if you're Montreal, you got to take advantage of it, right? You don't often get those.
Matheson around. That puck, did it glance off Anderson? It did, release it. Walker sends it around. Played out to center, Carrier, bowled over. Bolduc. So Bolduc gets a chance. Here's Stankoven in. Bolduc watching him and breaks up that pass. Jackson Blake plays it high and wide of the cage. Anderson. And swept away by Dobson. Yet another icing call.
That's about what, the third or fourth for Dobson. He's had a tough time making some of those passes. And you look at this loose puck here, Stankoven, maybe just a little fatigue. Why not drive? You've got Bolduc, if he hadn't noticed, playing his first shift of overtime. Drive to the net, force him to make a play, maybe draw a penalty. Instead, he stopped up and allowed the Canadiens to recover.
Montreal's been called 7 times in this overtime period for icing. Out is Bolduc at center. Did he get to the red line? Anderson's in! And can't get a shot away. Canadiens trying to get a change in. Back the other way is Eric Robinson. Robinson speeds in, misses stick side. Slavkovsky lifts the stick. Tried to spring Caulfield, but the pass didn't reach him. Jankowski's in, and again, that fourth line is out for Carolina. Big hit along the boards, and now Caulfield turns. Slavkovsky trying to redirect it towards Suzuki. At the line, Robinson with Jankowski. And he'll flip it back. Canadiens still without a shot on goal in overtime. Picked off by Svechnikov. Trying to work his way in. Svechnikov looking to center. Passing it across Jarvis. Back to Svechnikov. Scores! Evgeny Svechnikov has won it in overtime. Off a Canadian stick and up into the top corner, and Svechnikov breaks a long slump to win Game 3 for Carolina.
And just the mistakes, right? The clearing the zone, twice not able to get it out of the zone. You're giving Carolina a couple extra chances. A turnover in the neutral zone creates this. 2 down low, an opportunity at the net. Everybody's back into position, but right here, the aftermath in front. Sebastian Aho in good position. But earlier than that, Montreal had 2 chances to get the puck out. Carolina able to get control of it. On the top of the crease there is Sebastian Aho. And this crowd goes home. The opportunity was there to take the 2-1 lead. Svechnikov, who's had a really tough series so far. Here's Hudson, making a play. And just an errant pass in the middle. Fatigue will do that to all of you. The turnover creates the second chance here for the Carolina Hurricanes. And they take advantage of it and take a 2-1 series lead.
Now 6 consecutive overtime victories for Carolina over 2 years. 5-0 in these playoffs. Svechnikov with his first ever conference final goal. And Carolina wins it. Rod?
Chris Craig, thank you kindly.